Hank said he moved, right, during an interview with the K-Town Social Club. However, with the court, Ramsey said he hasn't moved. So there's a conflict. Has he moved or hasn't he moved? Was Hank lying or was Johnny lying? Right, whatever, like somebody's lying here.
The South Korean court is now about to enforce strict regulations to take action against Johnny Somali. And if the court had not taken this action, then Johnny Somali would have easily survived. So what is now more concerning is how the court is being strict against Johnny Somali and why it's so important right now. According to the current report, Johnny Somali's trial is still far from its day. And then, the Johnny Somali saga will become a wildfire because this will decide the future of Johnny Somali, whether it's a South Korean jail or an easy escape. So how is the South Korean court reacting? Or how should the court react to this situation? I'll give you a detailed breakdown you need to know right now if you've been following the Johnny Somali mess for a long time. So let's get started. Now guys, before we get into the main topic, I want to show you a controversial clip that's currently going viral online. Here you can see a post saying, "Japan cannot survive without immigration." Is that so, Gino? Someone as stupid as you knows that for sure? So now just watch what Johnny Somali's friend Gino said here. So this clip is actually important because it shows the real tactics used by Johnny Somali's allies and his close crew members, manipulating the system and authorities through this kind of trash talk. And who knows, could this be another shady move by Johnny Somali himself? Or maybe Hank is getting influenced by Gino.
To protest and march against immigration laws and stuff like that, it just gets to a point where it's like, guys, it's 2025, right? We kind of have to progress. We have to keep progressing as human beings. We can't keep staying stagnant and can't keep staying in the same old ways. I'm just gonna put it bluntly like this. Japan cannot survive without immigration.
Did you hear that? Now imagine, if tomorrow Gino also makes another video saying that Korea will not survive without immigration, and then next, Johnny Somali and Hank Yu start spreading this same kind of hate. Just think about it. If such comments are coming from Johnny Somali and his allies, is there really any doubt that they're trying to manipulate the system before the trial? That's why it's extremely important for the South Korean court to stay fully aware of this situation and take serious action against Johnny Somali. Even several legal experts have said that if Johnny Somali keeps this up, the judge might make a strict decision against him.
So that was a big lie. So it just shows he's going to get on the stand and lie. And while he could get away with it in this trial, he will not get away with it in his own trial because he can be punished for that. And he can be, the judge can take that not kindly when it comes to sentencing.
Now, you should also know that Johnny Somali and Hank Yu have already been trying to manipulate the South Korean law, court, and prosecution. As you might remember, they made several lies in court. For example, the claim that the man Youngman, who Johnny Somali recently filed charges against, had attacked him. That was completely false. Hank Yu and Johnny Somali used that lie as an opportunity to drop charges through conspiracy and shady tactics.
He also was asked who owned the baton, because a big thing was involving this baton. It was an assault that allegedly happened when Youngman had the baton and allegedly hit him. But who owned the baton? Well, we all know it's Hank. We have the video to show it's Hank.
But now, all the evidence has resurfaced, and the court seems to be getting closer to the truth. And if this clip reaches the court, there should be no more leniency for Johnny Somali. Now just watch how Johnny Somali and Hank Yu lied in court, and what the actual evidence reveals.
Youngman, don't buy. That's a baton. Youngman picked my baton up. A baton up.
So when the clip became available, you can clearly hear Hank Yu saying with his own mouth that Youngman took his baton from him. But in court, Johnny Somali said that the baton was brought by Youngman, or that he didn't know anything about it. Just imagine. How are Johnny Somali and Hank Yu trying to manipulate the system like this? And all of this is actually happening because of the lack of awareness and strictness from South Korean authorities. Johnny Somali is still living freely in South Korea, and he has enough time and space to plan and execute these shady tactics. You could even say that the authorities know what he's doing, but they're still giving him room to continue. Do you agree with that or not? If the South Korean judge and prosecution really want to punish Johnny Somali, they must enforce strict regulations against him. No more leniency, no more delays. People are already expressing serious concern about this situation. For example, look at some of these comments online. Korea's legal system is a joke. They deserve Johnny. Maybe it's a far-left judge. Crazy how they're allowing him to keep making the country look weak. They're not showing strength, and that'll bring more little Johnnies to make South South Korea look like a joke. If they're letting someone like him break the rules, that's on them. A guy is locked up because of lies. Hank should be punished too because he knows the law. There's no excuse for him to say he didn't know or couldn't tell Johnny what was a crime. There's nothing special about how Johnny is being treated. There have been no delays in court dates. This is just how the Korean system works. The only reason it's taking longer is because Johnny is pleading not guilty to several charges. Charges based on evidence from his own phone and social media. Honestly, months ago I wouldn't have felt like this. But the longer this trial goes, the more I believe Korea actually wants this clown and more people like him to mess up their country. Sympathy is at an all-time low right now. All of this proves that Johnny Somali hasn't faced real trouble yet. While we know he will face consequences if the court finally sentences him, public concern is growing, and it's a valid reason why everyone is now questioning South Korea's justice system. So the real question is South Korean law helping Johnny Somali? Or does the South Korean legal system itself need some serious fixing? Now here, take a look at More from Legal Mindset, where he breaks down how Johnny Somali and Hank Yu actually lied in court, and even almost got caught in their own conspiracy while the court was questioning them.
One of the things that he was asked was regarding to stalking, because Jungman was accused of stalking him. So if you are stalked, you need to know where you are stalked, because where are you staying, right? Where's your address? We pretended not to know. Well, how are you going to not know and say you're being stalked? He knows his address. He just doesn't want to say it because of the lie that happened during the court of his own trial. He said he's moved. He said Hank said he moved, right, during an interview with the K-Town Social Club. However, with the court, Ramsey said he hasn't moved. So there's a conflict. Has he moved? Or hasn't he moved? Was Hank lying? Or was Johnny lying? Right, whatever. Like, somebody's lying here, right? So we pretended not to know.
Not somebody. Both Johnny Somali and Hank Yu were clearly lying there. And I've already made plenty of videos about this if you've been following the Johnny Somali case for a long time. As I've covered Johnny Somali's shady activities many times before, some people have cursed me out and said that I'm exaggerating the situation. But the reality is, Johnny Somali's fans and supporters are getting more confident because they see that their exposure is fading. And that's exactly when they take the chance to pull off even more shady tactics. Just like Johnny Somali has threatened people multiple times before.
When I go to the judge and say, "Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm mentally ill. I don't know what's going on. I have a bipolar disorder. And what may I do? I left my medication in America. I don't know what's happening, Your Honor. Please help me. I am a psychopath. I plead mentally insane." And they say, "Okay, go home."
He keeps saying, what I did wasn't criminal.
I feel like what I did still is not illegal. Obviously, it hurt people. I feel like when I tell a joke or I say some shit on my stream, it's just for me and my audience. Like, it's not supposed to, like, I feel like in some way I'm trying to be like a comedian in a way, like, you know what I mean? When I'm trying to entertain my fans or my supporters, it's not supposed to be taken serious.
I also said this in one of my previous videos. Johnny Somali committed the crime, but then tried to blame it all on his audience. But let's be real. How can the South Korean authorities or any authority punish his audience for something he did? That logic just doesn't make any sense. And even if it's true that his audience encouraged his criminal mindset, then that just means Johnny Somali deserves that kind of toxic audience, because he's the one who built it. But if you find out in the next trial that Johnny Somali is once again trying to use this kind of twisted logic in court, don't be shocked, because at this point, nothing from Johnny Somali or Hank Yu's playbook should surprise anyone. They've been doing this from the start, lying, manipulating, and twisting every angle to protect themselves. Let me know in the comments. Do you think Johnny Somali will face real justice this time, or find another way to escape accountability?